So it's Ophiucus time. Ophiucus is represented as a man wrestling with a snake that's wrapped around him in astrology. Now, the snake can represent the ego and shadow and all the lessons to be learned there. It's time to shed our skin, to reinvent ourselves, to learn those lessons so that we may grow, evolve, and develop. So for women, I just posted a video of a warning because there are a lot of covert narcs out right now while all this work is happening. And so women need to really get in touch with their feelings. And if you haven't done shadow work, you have to first do shadow work for the process of self-actualization, individuation. After that comes integrating your animus for women and anima for men. So for women, how to know the difference if you have a bad feeling about someone, well, that's your feeling. That's not your animus, that's your feeling. So the difference is your animus, your internal masculine, would be a voice in your head. It would be that voice in your head that says, oh no, don't get that thing for him. Don't be too nice to him. Don't do that. You're going to look like that. So it's that voice in your head that is preventing you from acting on your feelings. I'm going to say that again. Your animus, for women, is that voice in your head that is belittling your feelings, devaluing your feelings, discrediting your feelings, making you question your feelings. And it's that animus that you need to work on. Realize that's a voice in your head, that's programming. That's your subconscious belief of how a man should be. And if you're the type of woman that ends up liking someone a lot, and then somewhere in, very shortly in, you end up having a weird dramatic cry fit that you really didn't want to have because you wanted everything to go perfect because you really liked them, that was your animus coming out because it didn't let you feel your feelings. Instead, you got really frustrated and overwhelmed and lashed out in some way, and then you just couldn't compute all your feelings. You ended up acting like a baby. So work on that internal masculine who's trying to control you based on an image that you have of how a man should be. So maybe if that guy didn't check a box, but you really liked him, all of a sudden that internal masculine, that animus said, no, you can't be with him for whatever. So instead of feeling your feelings and trying to communicate that with the man, you just had some weird kind of crying hissy fit. So learn the difference, research animus and anima for a guy. Now, anima for a guy, the internal feminine it comes to a lot of guys as a mermaid in your dreams, telling you how beautiful and handsome you are and great. But there's an unhealthy anima that appears in men who have a lot of difficulty making decisions. They're known as spineless, wimpy. They are very impulsive for maybe things that shouldn't have such a reaction. They'll overreact, and then for big things that require action, they'll be paralyzed and they won't be able to take any action. They could be really wise when they're young and childish old men. So they're out of time, out of inappropriate. It's this inappropriate feelings that happen and a lack or too much or too little kind of weirdness. And these guys tend to end up with women whose animus is totally taken over them. So these are the type of men who are controlled by women because they can't really make decisions for themselves. So their dreams of their internal feminine, it's going to be nightmares, usually. Think Beau is Afraid, that movie. Oh my God, that's not a good anima to have if you're a man. So it's shaped by the mother, right? So if the mother had this type of very controlling way, so what the internal anima does for a guy, essentially, you'd think that it would help him with his feelings because it's an internal feminine, but it's the opposite. She will make him question his feelings. Just the one moment where he's happy and elated, that internal voice in him will be like, yeah, but it's not real, it won't last. It will just discredit his feelings as well, because, and he'll learn not to trust his feelings, because it's usually the secondary function in a man. Usually men have the thinking first. There's thinking, there's intuition, there's feeling, and there's sensation. And everybody has the one that they favor to make decisions with. And with men, it tends not to be feeling. That's a secondary one. So they won't have any confidence in their feeling if they're possessed by their anima. They're never, even if it's a beautiful mystical experience, they're going to not believe it. Because, yeah, but it was just that, Yeah, but there's always a but to just discredit it, and they tend to not be happy. And so there's serious healing work that needs to be done with that gentleman. If you are in that state and you're one of these people that are possessed by your anima, nightmarish situation, nightmarish life, etc., the first thing to do before you even work on that is regular shadow work. So your other aspects, and then move on to the anima. And what you can do with that is not to put your feelings in the external and practice there, but practice on the internal, feeling your feelings. Like, this will do you a lot of well, to feel your feelings and not let that inner voice put you down in any way. Just take your time feeling your feelings. And if in those moments where you have a tendency to react right away, overreact, but I have to do this now, and then you tend to regret it later. So if this impulsive thing that you do that is sabotaging your life, you need to do the exact opposite. When you have that impulse, that is this pattern, sleep on it. Sleep on it. So the next day, you may not do it. You're going to break out of that pattern. So you have to do the opposite. And when you're paralyzed and you can't move, and it's really important, and you need to take action, and you're paralyzed because you don't know if it's the right action, and your anima inside is saying, no, don't trust your feelings, and you're paralyzed with that sensation of, I need to act, but I can't act, I don't know what to do, it might not be the right thing. That's when you have to take action and accept that it might not be the right thing, it might not be the right answer, but it is the right thing to do for you to take that action, to get out of that pattern, out of that loop that is not giving you a happy life. So you want to move from unhappiness to happiness, you have to do the opposite of what you have been doing to break out of that pattern. So if you're paralyzed, take action and accept that, it might not be the right thing, but the right thing is to take action. No matter what it is, just as long as it's not hurting somebody else, take action. Do something. And if you're taking too much action and you're a guy, impulsive, sleep on it. Don't take action. Very simple. And do the shadow work, men and women. It's a man wrestling with a snake, not a woman. As women, you're going to do better just by sitting down and being still, not wrestling. Just be still. That's being in your feminine. Feel your feelings. Feel your feels. Get rid of the voices in your head, because the voices telling you how you feel, that's not how you feel. How you feel is what you're actually feeling. It's not a voice in your head. Learn to discern the difference, to break out of the matrix, out of these collective programs, collective projection, BS. This channel is about mastery.